It's how you build your business. It's how you get a really nice book, and it's how you get the listings in the future.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview the top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Elite Agent Secrets show. Today we've got Emma Pace with us. She's been in real estate for the last 7 years. She's sold over $100 million worth of real estate. She's got 6 team members. She's won Rookie of the Year award. She's also the first agent in her brokerage to do over 7 figures. Top producing agent of 2020 and 2021, loves education and dogs, and also holding her microphone like an Eminem rapper wannabe today. So for those that aren't watching on YouTube, you've got to get over there so you can see what the vibes are going on. She is going to be discussing growing her business with internet leads, why coaching is crucial, and scaling a team. Emma, thank you for coming on the show with us today. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I feel like I should say mom's spaghetti just to start this off. You know what I mean? But I'm doing well. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you so much.
Listen, with those numbers, you might be richer than Eminem. Who knows?
Man, I don't know. I don't know.
In sales.
I definitely would freestyle battle him though, for sure.
And if you're looking to sell a home, hit me up.
Hit me up. I could be the rapping realtor. I'm changing my niche now.
That would actually be a sick. That would be a sick brand. There's one guy that I really like called the Inked Realtor, just because his branding's so good.
Okay, cool, nice.
And he's head to foot in tattoos, like whole his head, everything, and his whole niche is he basically services tattooed people, and his branding is all just about tattoos and real estate. And his cars are wrapped in it. His billboards are all the Inked Realtor. And it's just like he attracts his persona, his demographic, and he's crushing it.
I was going to say, I bet he just absolutely kills it with them too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're his people, right? They're his tribe.
For sure.
You know? That's the way it goes. So with that being said, the way we like to start off every show is take her back 7 years and 1 day ago. Why did you get into real estate? And take us on a little bit of a journey over the last 7 years.
Yeah, it's actually funny now that I have the mic here because before I was in real estate, I was actually DJing. And I actually got into real estate to have more time DJing because I had a full-time job at the time. And I'm like, oh, well, real estate seems like a really good conduit to like having more free time. So why don't I just do that? I can make some money. Then I focus on DJing. And needless to say, I don't DJ anymore.
How wrong were you when you thought you were going to have more time?
All the wrong.
Yeah.
Very, very, very wrong.
Not surprised there.
Yeah. It was, you know, at the end of the day, I'm super happy with my decision. And it's funny because it's like now 7 years later, I was having this conversation when we were away last week about how I feel like everything's coming full circle and I want to get back into DJing again. So you guys might see me on the decks again. We'll see how it goes.
Maybe that would be your nice little niche, right? Throw a party after you sell the house.
Totally. Free DJ sets with every house sold.
There you go. We actually had another gentleman on the show that does an espresso machine, and people know him literally for the espresso machine that he gives with every single house he sells.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. Something memorable, you know?
Yeah, I like
quirks.
it.
Everyone's got their quirks, and like, you know, building a successful business, you got to stand out. You can't be like everyone else, right? That's kind of part and parcel of it. Now, you got in first year. What, like I said, takes on a bit of a journey. So, what were your first year, second year like? Talk to us about getting deals, transactions. What did that look like?
Yeah, everything was everything was leases, Kijiji leases. When I first started, I got my first sale deal from a guy that I had converted from a lease. He was like the first person I had ever met in my entire life that made over 6 figures. And he sent me, I think it's so strange, and I don't know how it works in your guys' market, but in our market, when someone goes to lease a property with you, it's like you need their credit check, letter of employment, like you get so much financial history. And then you go with buyers and they don't give you anything. And so this guy sent me all of his stuff over and I was like, holy shit, this is the richest person I've ever met in my entire life. The guy made like 160K or something. And I was like, oh, what the hell? I was losing my mind. So I asked him, I'm like, why are you renting? Like, why don't you just buy a place? He's like, I didn't even think that I could buy a place. I'm like, you're like the richest person I've ever met in my entire life. And then the journey started. I didn't say that verbatim, but that's what I was thinking when I was in panic mode. And that was the start of my sales journey. So a bunch of leases, and then converted him, and had done, I think, 2 or 3 sales and before I joined the brokerage that I'm with now, which is called Zoocasa. And that's kind of like where the online leads started. And we're a brokerage that focuses solely on kind of like online lead generation. And so I went from leases to transitioning into sales, and then with a very heavy focus on online lead generation from there.
And from your first year to your second year to your third year, what did your transaction projection look like? Like, did you just go like 3 or 4 leases, a sale, and then you went like 100 deals the next year? Take us through.
I stopped doing leases like right away. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I only want to do sales, because you get hooked on the sales. So I think I had done, I don't know, I want to say like 18 or 20 deals my first year. Sales, and then
that's not bad.
32 or something like that my second year. Just kind of scaled up ever since then.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How many was it last year? Did you do 2021?
Last year I think we did close to 50, but they were I guess it's one thing when you try and figure out like, how do I optimize this process a little bit more so I'm not on the road as much, right? So it's like, how do we do bigger deals? How do we get more listings? All that kind of stuff. So at the beginning I was only focused on buyers, wasn't taking any listings at all. So it was takes a lot of time, but it's how you build your business. It's how you get a really nice book, and it's how you get the listings in the future.
Yeah, there's a process to this, right? Like, there's levels to it. And with real estate, I mean, I don't think everything's for everyone. Like, a lot of people come in and they're like, I want to do luxury because they see the commission checks, and then they don't realize how much marketing how much money the realtor has to put in to sell the home. And that comes out of your pocket. It doesn't come out the seller's pocket. And I actually don't particularly love luxury. Yeah. I prefer like median price point. It sells quick. There's a lot of buyers. Like, you don't have to put money in. It's very easy. It's very transactional. Like, it's like, it's, and then we've had people on the show and they're like, yeah, we focus on like $6-10 million luxury. And I'm like, how much does it cost you to sell that? And they're like, 10, 20, 30 grand in marketing to try and sell it. And it's like, well, this is the stuff that people don't talk about. They talk about the 250 grand check, but they don't talk about, put 30 grand in, and then the seller goes, I don't want to work with you anymore.
Totally. And I think that's kind of the thing too, is like, when you're thinking about your niche and like who you guys want to work with, it's like, who do you actually have fun with? And for me, it's like, I know the people that I jive with well, and I have a great time with, that would want me to throw a DJ set in their backyard are probably not people that want to sell like a $30 million place. You're like, you're a DJ. I would never consider that. Right. But the people that I have I have so much fun with my clients to the point where like, they would love to have me over for drinks and a DJ set, and I can duplicate that experience like no problem. Right. And it's just like, those are kind of my people. Like, I love working with them, and it's, I'm in Toronto, so we have a good price point, which is nice as well.
$1 million.
Yeah, but I just, I love like the clientele that we get to work with is great. So you don't have to be a luxury agent. You can do a lot of business, and I think just being authentically yourself inevitably kind of gets you to that point, and then that's what scales you up.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found interesting that you said is coming full circle. You started out being a DJ. You got into real estate, and now you want to go back into DJing. Does that mean you want to decrease your production? You want to be more efficient, increase your price point? Like, help us understand, why would you go full circle other than it's my passion and maybe something that I want to do?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to do it full time, but I feel like I completely lost a part of myself as a result of transitioning into real estate. And I feel like sometimes I feel guilty about that, to be honest. I'm like, I kind of feel like I really lost myself. I got into this industry for that purpose. And now I feel like I'm finally starting to build a business that allows me to have some of my time back. And it's like, now I want to like re-engage that passion of mine. And so it's not like a full-time thing by any means, but it's just something where I feel like finally I have some time for like a passion project or something, and I'd like to get back into it.
This is so interesting because what you're showing now is displaying self-awareness, right? Which is, we spoke about this a lot. I had a bit of a rant, as I kind of usually do. And we talked about building big real estate companies, and someone like yourself is obviously very good. Like some people, I'm not saying, I think everyone could be a millionaire in real estate if you just are committed to it. Like you could basically be very mediocre and stick at this in 10 years and make well north of $1 million, right? Mm-hmm. But like, you know, your number's 7 years, 100 mil sold is crazy, right? Now, one of the things that we talk about with people like yourself is they reach this point, and it's funny because you're now self-aware enough to go, actually, I'm taking a step back. And I think topic 3 that we're going to go into is going to kind of unpack this a little bit more. But we talk about when agents build companies, it's like they're walking a dog and they're nurturing this dog and it's growing. And then eventually what happens with a lot of big agents is the dog gets so big, it starts walking them.
Yeah.
And now they can't get out. And now they are stuck. And now everything they built for this financial freedom is they didn't build a home. They built a cage, which when you conceptualize that, it's actually pretty upsetting because there was a lot of people out there who, from the outside looking in, the assumption because of their wealth is they're happy. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of people who literally would do a lot to just get the fuck out, but they built something, and they've got a team of 30 agents relying on them. They've got admin and stuff, and now they feel trapped because they haven't had the awareness to go, actually, I need to build systems, teams. I need to take a step back to then walk away and go back to passion projects like yours, DJ, like mine, racing cars. Like I love it. We do all this real estate stuff. I do a bunch of other stuff, but like at weekends now, I never used to, but now at weekends, like I'm racing, I'm working on my own shit. I'm not doing this. I have to go back to my roots. And like, I'm an engineer through and through at my core. And like, I'm never going to give that up. And I think as soon as, if you've got those passions, you shouldn't. Like real estate, we all got into it to make a lot of money. And there is a certain point where you've made enough where it's like, actually now I'd rather, even if DJing pays you $10 an hour and real estate pays you $1,000, it's but smiles per hour, probably get more from DJing, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I don't know, like, you know what, I'm just like a crazy person when it comes to work. And I realize I'm just, it's never going to go away. So I actually really do love working, but I agree with you that there are some times that you kind of catch yourself in your career where you're like, oh, I kind of like feel like I've built a life that I'm trapped in.
Yeah.
I felt like that before. And I feel like I'm finally getting to a point where it's like, I do have the self-awareness and I have a great team around me and I have people that support me. And I think that I'll always love the real estate thing and I always want to go 100% on it. But it's like, I just need that like outlet outside of real estate for like my passion project. And I feel like for a long time, I didn't feel like I should reward myself with that or something. Like I should always be working harder. And now I'm like, we're doing pretty good. And I still love music. Like, why can't I kind of collaborate those two things? And who knows, maybe it'll be a good lead source for me because you meet a lot of people through music for sure.
That's what I would love to see. Is I would love how you kind of marry both of these outlets, right? Yeah. Because I think there's a creative way that if you can figure this out, you can be happy and you don't quote unquote have to have two different avenues that run parallels. You can have two avenues that are very much intertwined.
Yeah.
That, you know, kind of keep things moving for you as opposed to having a hobby.
Totally. And I think it's funny because my mindset when I first started in real estate was like, you should always wear a suit and you have to be so proper. And like, you don't want to tell anybody that you're a DJ because they won't respect you and yada, yada. Where now it's like, oh man, the best people, you know what I mean? Like every single person lives in a house or like most people live in a house. But you know, there are a lot of people that love real estate that also love music. And it just allows us to connect on a deeper level because I still know what the fuck I'm doing in real estate. And I'm still really passionate about it. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a good DJ and like I'd like to sell you a house. It's like I actually know way more about real estate than I do about DJing at this point in time. So it's just there's great people in every industry and passion. And I think you can marry the two.
I've got your next business. I've already figured it out. So we don't need to go on the thinking, right? DJ weddings, people getting married, buying houses. Boom.
You know, it's so funny. People always used to ask me to do wedding DJing, but I was like a club DJ, right? And so I was just like, I just can't drop like YMCA. I just can't do it. I literally can't do it.
Wedding DJ, you'll get so much business. In fact, we actually know people who do wedding stuff and they get business. And one of the big ones is one of the realtors, parents own a wedding photography business and they leverage it to get deals.
No way. That's actually pretty cool. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Anything to do with weddings is massive. Yeah. Obviously, divorces on the other side is also massive. So
divorce parties.
Divorce parties.
With
that being said, I want to dive into, which is one of our favorite topics, because we coach on this too. First topic to success is growing your business through internet leads. Now, we love this, but before us diving in, as per usual, unpack why that is your first secret to success.
I think I don't necessarily know if it's a secret to everyone's success. It's been a secret to mine. And I think there's a lot of people out there that think like, oh, internet leads are garbage and there's really no way I can build my business off of it. But I didn't know one person who could afford real estate when I started in Toronto. And I've built my entire business off of it. And so I think for me, it's just really hammering on the fact for anybody that's watching this, just because there's a name and a number online doesn't mean it's a bad lead. There's a lot of really, really, really good internet leads that come through and you can build a really, really, really solid business. You just have to be able to go from a name and number on a computer to actually having a human interaction with them.
So what are some of the things that you're doing? Because we hear this all the time, right? Bad leads, bad information, too far out. Whatever the fucking excuse is out there. And I use the F word for emphasis for that one. I hope you guys felt the pain behind it because
I did for sure.
That's near and dear to our heart because that's how we did it, right? Yeah. That's how we got started. Moving into a brand new area, no sphere, no influence, no nothing. What else are we supposed to do?
For sure.
Right? So what are you doing to convert these leads? How are you, or maybe even taking a step further, or step backwards. What are you doing to generate and how to get them as a name, phone number, email from a piece of paper to that actual relationship, getting them approved, getting them under contract and getting moving?
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of different things. So our two kind of main internet lead gen sources are Facebook and then our brokerage, right? And so our brokerage is it's interesting because it's almost like a tech company / real estate brokerage where we're one of the bigger search websites for real estate in Canada. So we get a lot of internet leads through that website and then also through Facebook. But I think one of the biggest keys to success with internet leads is speed to lead, right? And being in communication with them. Because a lead will come in and if you don't contact them for 4 or 5 days, for sure they forgot that they signed up for your thing or they've signed up for other people's thing. It's like the analogy that I use with my team is like, I'll shop for shoes on the internet at fucking midnight and be so interested in this pair of shoes, right? And then I wake up in the morning and I was like, fuck those shoes. I definitely don't want those anymore. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with real estate. And we would be foolish to think that it isn't the case where it's like, if someone signs up for something at 10 o'clock a.m., and you don't call them until 8 o'clock at night, there's a good chance that they're not interested anymore or that you lost the opportunity when they were super interested in that. So speed to lead is a really big thing in conversions. And then actually giving a shit about people. Who would have thought, right? And how can you have tonality and delivery over the phone where they feel like they're actually having a human interaction with someone and not a robot? And I think it's really easy to lose sight of that when you're making a bunch of calls every day and you feel like, oh, I'm just going through the motions. It's like, how can I actually be invested in this call? Because it is a human being on the other end of the line. And so when you are actively thinking about how can I give a shit about this person or how can I make them see my face through the phone, it makes a big difference in terms of being able to get that person to an appointment.
When from the lead sources, before we even go speed to lead, are you asking, is it literally name, phone number, email, or is there certain qualifications or criteria that you are getting to try and delineate between yes, these guys are say 3 months out or these guys are 24 months out? Or are you just everyone's same bucket, call these guys right now?
It depends on the campaign that we're running, but for the most part, it's name, number, email.
Right.
And then with my team, we have an ISA, and we kind of pre-qualify the lead to get a better understanding of like what their time frame looks like and how we can nurture them appropriately. And then we'll slide them over to an agent, depending on personality fit and time frame.
So is your ISA Canadian or
off these out? Everybody's in Toronto.
Everybody, that's amazing. So you're using your ISA to essentially do the qualification. So it's lead form or Facebook lead, ISA qualifies time frame, ISA passes off to agent then does the next steps, and then so on and so forth. That makes sense. So you're keeping lead costs down by reducing qualification points, but you've also got the additional cost of an ISA, but then you've also got that extra touch point to build that relationship,
the
right?
Rapport and again, it's an in-house ISA. It isn't something that we hire out. So our ISA knows specifically about our processes and about our team members and all that kind of stuff. So we really can build rapport. And one thing that we've been focusing on is just making sure that like that first interaction for both agents and for our ISA is as effective as possible, so that we can have that human interaction. And it's not just like a robot that you're talking to on the phone.
And from the online lead perspective, I know you said basically all your business has come from online leads. I'm sure you do have referrals at this point at a pretty healthy rate. But when it comes to conversion rate, what are you seeing? Do you know what your rough conversion rate is on leads?
If we're talking like high level, just signups to closings, probably between like 2 and 3%.
Right, which is amazing. Like that's actually, like we say 1 to 3, but we know 3% is high, but 3% means you've got a good team, you've got good process. I mean, everyone should be converting 1%. Like 1% is like, and that's a lot of money you made at 1%. Let's be real right now. Like if you're converting at 1%, you're still making an absolute ass load of money.
Yeah, totally.
But if you're converting, so every 300 leads, you're converting 3, your price point is obviously high in Toronto, you're $1 million plus, right? I'm assuming. So it's like great commission.
Our average price point right now, I think, is $825, because we're doing a lot of condos too. So when you factor in over $1 million, and then you've got a couple come in and out like $600K, whatever it happens to be, I think we're $825. We looked this morning.
God, it's so incredible. And then you're getting them through. And then I want to talk just a little bit more about, again, like the client flow. I want to go to kind of the other end of the stage, because it's not something that we talk about a ton, but I know how important it is. Because getting referrals is a outcome of great experience, right? So like now you've got a lot of leads, you've built your sphere essentially massive very quickly using paid lead generation, and now you're delivering the experience. Are you doing anything from the online lead standpoint or the online nurture standpoint, should I say, to keep them hot, for in the future to get referrals and, keep in touch? Are you working on that?
You mean like past client follow-up type of stuff?
Yeah. So like someone buys through you, do you have a focus on that as well with regards to follow-up and keeping in touch and getting referrals out of them?
Yeah, so it's definitely something that I think we can improve on, but like it's something that we're always kind of working on. And so, January is always going to be a CMA, just so they have an understanding. And we do like a really in-depth CMA for our clients, just so they have an accurate assessment of the like property valuation. Then we'll usually do like a spring mailer. So we just went through a team rebrand. And so we did kind of like a spring cleaning kind of mailer out with like our new branding and all of that kind of stuff. And then in the summer, we'll end up doing probably a barbecue or like party for our clients, just to kind of just kind of a touch point. Like after COVID, I think everybody could use a couple of beers on a patio. So we'll do that. And then we'll usually do like Christmas gifting and stuff like that. So we try and do at least 4 proper mailers or touch points with clients.
Oh, and by the way, would you consider yourself a maverick? Are you an agent, team leader, broker owner who's constantly striving, pushing boundaries and smashing goals? Well, we've already helped over 100 agents cross $100,000 and up in GCI per year. So if you're interested in learning more about our courses and coaching to help you scale your business, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.